The purpose of this lesson is to teach you how to solve an equation by factoring when the a value is 1. The steps are to first make sure the equation is in standard form. That is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. If it's not in that format, please put it in that format. Second, factor the trinomial into two quantities. Next, set each of these quantities equal to 0. This is called the zero product property. It's less important that you know its name and more important that you realize that when you multiply two things and the result is 0, one of those two things, or both of them, have to be 0. So set each piece equal to 0, then solve those two very easy linear equations and verify your solutions. Let's take a look at two examples down here. In this first example, we have x squared minus 9x minus 36 equals 0. This is already in standard form, so we can move right to step 2. Step 2 asks us to factor. We know that the first term is going to be x and x, and we know because there's a minus sign in front of that 36, we have one of each sign. So we're searching for two numbers that multiply together to make negative 36, but add to make negative 9. Those two numbers are negative 12 and positive 3. Next, I apply the zero product property by setting each piece equal to 0 and putting an or in between them. The reason I can do this is because I have a quantity times another quantity equals 0, and that can only be true if one of those quantities equals 0. So I set the first one equal to 0 and then solve this equation by subtracting 3 from both sides. There's one of my solutions. And then I look at the second one, I add 12 to both sides, and I get 12 as my second solution. Plugging them back in, I confirm that I get two correct answers. Doing the same thing down here, you can see in this one, it's not in standard form, so I'm going to have to do that first by subtracting 11x from both sides to put it in standard form. And now I get x squared minus 7x plus 10 equals 0, and I'm ready to go. Step 2, factor the trinomial, x and x. This symbol tells me both are the same. I cheat over here and look, and they're both negative. Looking for two negative numbers that multiply together to make 10, but add to make negative 7. That would be negative 2 and negative 5. Again, I have a quantity times a quantity equals 0, so I know the first quantity has to be equal 0, or the second quantity has to equal 0. I add 2 to both sides on the left, and I get x equals 2 as one of my solutions. I add 5 to both sides on the right, and I get 5 as my second solution. Again, when I plug them back into the original statement, I will get true statements for both of them.